can take you. Where do you want to go? Climb and back, and we'll be off. A carrot.
That's close enough. Oh, it's you. I'm so glad you're here. Look, I don't know how much time we have left. My brother went down this shaft a few days ago, and I'm worried. I need you to go in after him and bring him back to me alive. It could be dangerous, but if anyone can do it, it's you. Now, are you ready? All right, but please hurry. My name's Cassia. My brother and I came to Skyrim from Cyrodiil with the Imperial Legion. But we took a break to explore these ruins. We didn't want to get involved in this stupid war in the first place. We only came here because we were conscripted. But our unit was wiped out by Nords and those forsworn savages, and we saw a chance to get away from the fighting altogether. So we took it. Well, we came here hoping to find something valuable to pay for carriage back to Cyrodiil. Altreus went down the shaft, but he asked me to stay here. Because he made me promise I'd stay here and wait for him no matter what. And I keep my promises. Well, except as far as the Legion is concerned. I was in Markarth looking for help when I heard people talking about you and all the loot you've been trading with merchants all over Skyrim. I figured you'd be interested in exploring these ruins, so I asked a courier to track you down. And here you are. So you're ready to go now? I knew I could count on you. Now quickly, go!
If you are reading this, you stand at the entrance to an ancient dwarven city. No doubt you have never heard of it, for in all my travels and all my study, I have never read of it in any text, save for the inscription here. It reads, "Those who seek refuge will find peace here, basking in the sun under the ground. Those who seek gold will find riches beyond imagining, but will pay for this folly with their lives, for there is no return to the world of man." Is it possible there is life down there? Is it possible the dwarves are still alive after all this time? As I stand here on this precipice, war raging all over Tamriel, my mind is made up. Today I take a leap of faith. Beloved reader, perhaps one day you will join me. Consider this an invitation or a warning.
To whoever reads this, I am so sorry you had to find me like this. and worse, that you will share my fate. I have spent a lifetime in this place, going around and around in circles, searching for a way out. But there are only two choices: death or the door to the house on the lake. I made the mistake of opening that door. I thought I could help them if I found the right one, but whatever I did, it took me right back to that lake house. In the end, all I learned is that some things are worse than death. I urge you to learn from my mistakes. Best to take your own life now, than find out what awaits you beyond that door. I've locked it and hidden the key. I'll guard it with my eternal soul if I have to. But I fear even that will not be enough. For the lake house calls to you. And when it does, you must not listen. Aldrius. I was in your shoes once, a lifetime ago. I remember the way the lake house calls to you.
die in here alone? Or do I want to open that door? It seems like a simple choice. And yet, in the end, death was the better option all along. understand. I locked the lake house door to stop you from making the same mistake. Ignore my words and come searching for the key. Stay away. I hid that key for a reason. You're making a mistake.
"7 years ago, I discovered this wondrous city uninhabited. Others soon followed, heeding my invitation, and our community grew and prospered under my rule. But as I write this, I am alone once again, for my subjects have been the victims of an unspeakable atrocity. This is why, at the expense of my own life, I must open a portal that will take you into the past, before all this began. Beloved reader, you must go back, investigate what set this atrocity in motion, and prevent it by any means necessary.
You there? Where did you come from?
Strange. It looks like you just came out of the Jarl's private lake house.
A what? Oh, I see. You're a little bit crazy. Well, you're in good company here, my friend. Lots of us weren't thinking straight when we arrived. It's the first day of last seed, I believe. I guess you hit your head pretty hard coming down the shaft, huh? It's the 194th year of the Fourth Era, of course. Look, you seem a little... you know. So I'll make this nice and simple for you. Live by our laws, and we'll all get along just fine. Don't hurt anyone, don't steal anything. Same as anywhere else. Only the punishment here is much, much worse. The Jarl can tell you more, and help you get settled in. Might even have some quarters for you. I can take you to him if you like. Follow me. So, this is our farmland where we grow all the food you'll ever want. As long as all you ever want is leek, cabbage, and potato. If you have goods, the merchants at the market up ahead will be happy to see you. Most of us have few belongings, just what we brought in with us.
Morning, Gulvar.
Morning is... Above us is the sun under the ground. It's strange and no substitute for the real sun, of course, but these days it doesn't bother me. What bothers me is the Citadel folk. Take Jormund, for example, standing up there on his balcony looking down on us. Just look at him. Yeah, Jormund, you're a really big man, aren't you? Pfft. Milk drinker.
Aren't you going to introduce me to your strapping new friend, Gulvar?
We're on our way to see the Jarl. There'll be time for you to get your claws into our friend here later.
I look forward to it. You should come for a drink at my tavern, the Golden Sentinel, tonight. Just about everyone's there after dark.
Be careful with Rastasia. She... well... it's not my place to say. There's enough gossip in this place as it is. It's a small city after all. Only 24 of us at the moment. 23 if you don't count Brandis, who's halfway to the next line. Luke is barely managing to keep him alive. This is the Citadel, where the Jarl and his guests live. If you manage to worm your way in with them, you might get to live here too.
Gulvar, what do you think you're doing? You're meant to be working the Jarl's farm, not trudging dirt into his citadel.
Oh, I remember the first time
Jormund,
I
take
met
it
the
easy,
Jarl.
would you?
I was
just showing our new friend here to the Jarl.
Well, how about you get back to work, and I take our new friend the rest of the way? If you don't work, none of us eat, Gulvar. Remember that.
How could I forget? Fine, I'll get back to work. It was nice meeting you, my friend. Stop by for a chat anytime you like.
I'm sorry about that. That probably sounded a bit harsh, but it's my job to make sure we all have enough to eat. I'm Jormund. Let's head up to the next floor then, shall we? Stay close behind me. Wouldn't want you getting lost now, would we? It's good to see a new face here. Haven't had any new arrivals in a while. Since Marius. But he mostly keeps to himself. Bit secretive, actually. Most people are pretty friendly though, and so they should be. This is the closest you'll get to Sovngarde in all of Tamriel. No crime, no conflict. Most folk don't even bother locking the doors. Even if you could steal something without breaking the dwarves' law, it's not as if you could sell it to anyone here.
You wouldn't want to keep the Jarl waiting, would you?
Oh, welcome. I'm Gaia. You come and say hello when you're free.
Always got her nose buried in a book, that one. Helps out Brawl down in the city, our resident expert about the history and laws of the Dwemer. Last I heard, they were trying to track down some dwarven artifacts. Should ask Brawl about it, if you're into that sort of thing. This is the Citadel kitchen. Remember to be polite to our cook Asanchi. She does her best with what she has, which isn't much. Let's head up to the Jarl's floor. Alright, so we're about to meet Jarl Metellus. There's a couple of things you should know about him, if you want to make a good impression. First, he was the first one here. Well, he was here before the rest of us anyway. So the Citadel is his, and we're all his guests. Second, he's very protective of this place, and won't tolerate anyone disturbing the peace. So be on your best behaviour, and you should be fine. This is the top of the Citadel. The bathhouse is off limits, and I'm not even sure what's behind the gold door. Only the Jarl has ever gone in there. Alright, you're on your own from here. I've got lazy farmers to supervise. Good luck with the Jarl, and I'll see you around.
The Jarl is waiting for you on his balcony, on your left. What? Did you say something to me? No use talking to me, young'un. Can't hear a word you're saying. Both me ears went years ago. Still got my one good eye, though. All I need. Used to be a vigilant Ostender till I slipped up. You take it from me. You ever find yourself toe-to-toe with the flame Atronach, you make sure you put some distance between you before you kill it. Otherwise, whoosh. Eyes, ears, and hair gone, all at the same time. Didn't catch a word, and I'll be honest, being deaf ain't half so bad as you'd think. No one bothering you, asking questions. Still can't hear ya.
There's a face I don't recognize. Welcome to my city. I'm Jarl Metellus. Tell me, what is your name? It's always exciting to meet a new member of our small community. Now, before I forget, since you're here for good, you'll need some quarters. Here's a key to the last vacant chambers down in the city, between Brawl and Luki. It's all yours. Now tell me, what brings you to my city? I sent you here. I'm not sure what you mean. Well, let's see. This is my handwriting. The victims of an unspeakable atrocity. I will open a portal that will take you into the past. You must go back. This is real, isn't it? I've even toyed with the idea of creating a portal between 2 points in time, with Brawl's help. But that's odd. My letter makes no mention of what caused the disaster. I suppose I was in a hurry. So tell me, what's going to happen to us? That's exactly what I saw when I first discovered this place, several years ago. It seems whatever happened then is going to happen again. I think it has something to do with the dwarves' law. This is bad. This is very, very bad. Yes, you see, the dwarves who built this place left inscriptions. Brawl hasn't been able to fully translate them, but we understand some parts. This warning keeps coming up. The many shall suffer for the sins of the one. We think that breaking the law here will cause some kind of event. The truth is, I've used the dwarves' law to frighten my people into obedience, and it's worked so far. But someone's about to break that law. Let me think. Your arrival here is exactly what I need. You've helped me a great deal by bringing this note to my attention. I wonder if you could do me another favor. I need you to investigate the city, talk to my people, help them, if it'll win their trust. You can even go through their possessions, if you have to. You must work out who is going to break the dwarves' law. Once you have a name, come back and tell me immediately. As Jarl, I authorize you to go anywhere you need to go, including private homes. But if someone asks you to leave, you should do so immediately. I can't promise either of those things, but I will certainly do everything within my power to help you once you've helped my people. And of course, if you decide to stay, I would make sure you enjoy a comfortable life here. Now what do you say? Will you help me? Thank you. Now, you mustn't tell anybody where you're from or what may be about to happen here. People do foolish things when they panic. If it helps you, you're welcome to borrow the book on my desk. It contains the names and addresses of my subjects. Just don't show it to anyone. Goodbye for now, and good luck. I don't need to tell you what will happen if you fail.
Nice to see someone in the Citadel who isn't an Imperial for a change. Hey there. Well, as you know, the Jarl is my father. Or, at least, that's what he tells people. What he doesn't tell anyone is that I'm adopted. And the worst part is, I don't even know why he adopted me in the first place. I mean, he doesn't seem to care about me at all. Sometimes I feel more like his prisoner than his daughter. If we weren't trapped in here, I'd run away in a heartbeat. Oh, he really is. He's always telling everyone what to do. I don't know how everyone puts up with him. Did you know he calls this place his citadel? And he and his friends don't do any work. Everything gets done by the people down in the city. He'll probably try to make you work for him too. But don't just do whatever he says. People around here should really learn to stand up to him. You know my father would be upset to hear you ask that. I love it. Me, I'm not even allowed out of the citadel. I'm so bored. Father doesn't want me mixing with the common folk. He's all, why don't you read one of the books Gaia brought you? Books? I'm almost 18. I want to have fun, like normal girls my age. Or do anything to take my mind off where I am. I thought about getting one of those awful Nord tattoos. Father would hate that. But then that bitch Asanchi told me about her skooma habit. I don't want to drink it, but if I get some, I just know I could get that junkie to spill her guts about everyone in this place. Great! I wouldn't even know where to start looking, but there's got to be a stash or a recipe somewhere in the city. Come back as quick as you can. Any luck finding some... All right, see you later. Any luck finding some skooma? Any luck finding some skooma?
I'm a little busy, but what do you need? Why, you think if you butter me up, I'll start making food for you too? Forget it. My kitchen's for Citadel residents only. Go make your own food. Well, fine. My story? I'm the Citadel cook in this life. Not exactly how I thought my life would end up, but it's better than it was on the surface. That seems like a long time ago. I had a very easy life for myself in Markarth, married to a silver merchant. Maybe it was a little too easy. I was bored. A lot. Started looking for something to do. A friend introduced me to skooma. It was fun. For a while. But you know how it goes. I was a living cliche. Lost my husband, my home, my easy life. Then I found myself doing things I'm not proud of. That's when I realized if I couldn't keep myself away from the skooma, I'd have to keep it away from me. So when I found the entrance to this place, I knew what I had to do. Haven't touched the stuff since. Still get the cravings. Sometimes I'd kill for one last bottle. But no point in thinking about it down here. Right? I got myself trapped in here for a good reason. No way I'm going back up there. So, no, I don't know a way out, and I wouldn't want to know. Alright, see you later.
Oh, there. I'm a Breton from Hyrak. I've studied history at the Imperial City, which led me to Skyrim in search of Dwemer ruins. And now I'm here. Some days I just can't believe my luck. Working with Brawl, researching the richest source of Dwemer history and technology I could have imagined. I feel like we're on the brink of some amazing discoveries about the Dwemer. Who knows? Maybe we'll find not all of them have disappeared. I could, but Brawl knows much more than I do. You should be able to find him in his chambers down the city. A way out of here? Are you kidding? Why would I want to get out of here? I can't think of a single place in old Tamriel I'd rather be. Now that you mentioned it, I do. I need you to get something for me, and it won't be easy. I've tried everything I can think of, and still nothing. There's a big Nord living down in the city called Rikus. You may have seen him walking around in an immaculate example of Dwarven armor. I need that armor. It's the only one like it, and I believe it to be crucial in unlocking the secret of this place. The trouble is, before I could get a good look at it, that brute Rikas claimed it as his own, and has been wearing it ever since. I've tried everything. Appeals to his better nature, flattery, charm, even threats. It's like negotiating with a brick wall. The only thing I haven't tried is violence, and you know how that would end. But I'm convinced there's a way to get it. There has to be. Thank you. If you do manage to get it, you're welcome to keep it. I just need to have a quick look at it, that's all. That's fine. I've got a lot of reading to do if I'm going to know half as much as Brawl one day.
Not here. He can hear us. Not here. He can hear us.
What is it? I'm sorry, what's my story? What in oblivion is your story? How dare you come in here like you own the place and expect me to explain myself to you? I don't care who you are, but pay attention. There's a pecking order around here, and I'm at the top of it. After the Jarl, of course. So work hard and do what I tell you, or you'll wish you'd died and gone to oblivion. Got it? Nonsense. Not even a peasant like you would be stupid enough to do that. Everybody knows it would break the dwarves' law and get us all killed. So I'll speak to you and the other peasants as I see fit, and there's nothing you can do about it. Got it? Now get out of my sight. I'm sick of you.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
There's a looter coming into the city. I saw a man come down the shaft, but he was armed and he looked like a looter. If he makes it into the city and starts attacking people, he'll break the dwarves' law, and who knows what will happen. You have to stop him. Everybody, go home and lock your doors. The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
Oh, look. I have a visitor. How lucky for me. My story? It's about a quiet man who preferred to keep to himself. Short and sharp. Yes, I do. Death. Death is the only way out of here. You do that.
There's a looter coming into the city. I saw a man come down the shaft, but he was armed and he looked like a looter. If he makes it into the city and starts attacking people, he'll break the dwarves' law, and who knows what will happen. You have to stop him. Everybody, go home and lock your doors.
This can't be happening.
Thought I heard something.
Is it over? Is it safe? Oh, thank the gods. What a relief. We're so lucky that you arrived in time to stop them. I'll be sure to tell everyone what you've done for us. Thank you so much. If there's ever anything my husband Tabik and I can do to help you, just ask. Oh, there's not much to tell. My husband Habib runs the clothing store in town. You should stop by. I'm sure you'll leave looking much better. Not that you don't look good now, I mean, it's just... You know, nice clothes are... Oh, who am I kidding? I'm no good at selling anything. I guess that's why they've got me sweeping the floors day in, day out. Well, that, and we weren't invited to be layabouts in the Jarl's Citadel. Did you see anyone working in the Citadel? I'll bet you didn't. They just amuse themselves all day while those of us down here do all the work. And why? Because Habib's a Redguard and I'm a Breton. I bet if we were both Imperial, it'd be a different story. The worst part is we left Solitude to get away from bigoted Nords after our son died. But here the Imperials are even worse. Of course. Oh. No offense, but I'd rather not talk about it. Too many painful memories. And besides, there are enough sad stories around this place as it is. But if you're interested, you can talk to my husband, Habib, in his shop, Firefly Finery. What would we do? Start a rebellion? No way. Not after the dwarves' warning. You know, the many shall suffer for the sins of the one, and all that. I'd be a fool not to. If you're not convinced, you should go and talk to Broll in his chambers. He knows more about the dwarves than anyone. All right. If I did, Habib and I probably wouldn't be here. But Ulrin's wife managed to escape a while back. He doesn't like to talk about it, but you might be able to get him to open up, I suppose. Nice to talk to you. See you soon.
Hello, neighbor. I understand we have you to thank for dispensing with some would-be looters. So, thank you. Hello, neighbor. Would you like to hear about my research? My story? What a strange question. You presuppose that my life is a simple linear sequence of events which can be summed up in a verbal narrative? Well, that's nonsense, of course. First, most of it was so long ago I barely remember. Second, you would have to assume that the account I give you is biased heavily in my favor, and is therefore quite unreliable. And finally, my story is really much less interesting than this mysterious place. Now, do you have any sensible questions, or can I get back to work? Well, why didn't you say so? I researched Dwarven history and technology, and I'm originally from Kragenmoor in Morrowind. Any other questions? Now that's an interesting question. I personally don't know any way out, no. However, I have a theory. It's more of a hypothesis, really. My thinking is that if there was a way out of here, the dwarves who built this place must have known about it. True, but we can learn all sorts of things about them from what they left behind. Inscriptions, architecture, relics, statues. And while I've discovered many things here, there are some parts of the city I haven't been able to get to. I'm most interested in the palace, above the lake. Unfortunately, it's sealed up tight. Only one man ever managed to enter, and he never came out. That was Narnabas, and we haven't heard from him in years. Strange fellow.
I believe he was looking for the secrets of the dwarves too. If you could find a way in there, I'm sure it would tell us a great deal about this place. Who knows what secrets we could uncover? That is the sun under the ground. Or at least that's how it's referred to in the dwarven text we've managed to translate. I must confess, I haven't the faintest idea of how it works. But it seems to be giving us light and allowing us to grow crops, even under the ground. Of course, if it ever stops glowing, for whatever reason, we'll all be in quite a lot of trouble. But don't concern yourself with such dark thoughts. I'm sure we have nothing to worry about. Time travel. You know, as it happens, I do. It was a great obsession of mine for years after my wife passed. I thought if I could go back, I gave up on that idea a long time ago. But recently the Jarl has asked to see my research notes. How strange that you should now take an interest too. Can I ask what the nature of your interest is in this unusual subject? I don't quite know what to say to that. How can I put this charitably? Perhaps you're tired and emotional and need some rest. But I always enjoy discussing my theories with a receptive mind, so I'll humor you. What did you want to ask? For argument's sake, if you found yourself in that position, you'd have only two options. To live out your days in the past, or force a paradox. A paradox, you see, would involve changing the past so as to prevent the events which caused you to travel back in time in the first place. But you'd be taking a big risk by doing that. Who knows what the consequences would be? Some say that whatever you do, it will lead you right back to the future that took you back in time in the first place. An eternal loop, if you will. But me, I believe that creating a paradox should fling you back to your original time, having changed the past for you and everyone else. Well, let's say for argument's sake that you really have traveled here from the future. You could create a paradox in a few different ways. Essentially, you could do anything that would remove your means or motivation to return to the past. For example, you came here to achieve some goal. Achieving that goal would mean you will never have been motivated to come here. A paradox. Or, if the thing that allowed you to travel back in time is still here, as a past version of itself, you could simply destroy it, I suppose. That would mean, of course, that you will never have been able to travel back in time. Another paradox. But doing so can have terrible consequences. But if you really are from the future, as unlikely as that is, telling me or anybody else what happens next could have disastrous consequences too. I think it's best if we talk about something else. Well, the dwarves who built this city left inscriptions in the citadel, which translate to, "The many shall suffer for the sins of the one." My research leads me to believe that if a single member of our community sins, it'll trigger an event, killing us all. I believe such an event occurred some years ago, which is why Metellus found the city littered with burnt corpses. But to this day, there are many questions we simply don't have answers for. How is the dwarf's law still being enforced? How does it work? And we may never know, as long as nobody attacks or steals from anybody else. Until we know more, we all need to be on our best behavior. Very well. Come back if you think of any questions about something you discover. Hello.
Hey, I didn't invite you in here. Get out. Ah, the bandit slayer. Good to see you. My story? Well, my name is Degland, and I'm a merchant, yeah? But people say to me, Degland, they say, Degland, why are you a merchant? They find it surprising because I'm such an honest and trustworthy person. And sometimes you hear about your merchants who are, you know, dishonest. Well, I say to those people, I'm not like them. My father used to say to me, Degland, you can't be like the others. You be a good boy. And I was, my friend. I was not only just a good boy, I was the best boy. The best boy now and the best merchant with the best prices for you. My friend, you're in luck. I actually do, but let's keep it down, eh? Don't want anyone else to hear, do we? But I'll be honest with you, my friend. I'm looking after you. There's a bit of a catch. See, it's only gonna work for one person, yeah. I've been keeping it to myself, you know, thinking maybe I'll need it myself one day. But I'm a reasonable guy, yeah. I reckon I could be, what's the word, persuaded? Persuaded to give it away for, say, 1,000 gold coins? My friend, I can tell you it involves magic. Very special and very rare magic. But I shouldn't say any more than that. I need to eat, you know. Oh, good choice, my friend. You won't regret it. Oh, and if you do, no refunds. Not that it'll matter, because you'll be out of here in no time. And here it is. It's called an elixir of acrobatics. I got it from an alchemist in Morrowind years ago, and I've kept it with me just in case. And now it's all yours. Once you drink it, you'll be able to jump like a skeever on skooma. You should be able to leap up to the shaft at the entrance. Now go, my friend. Get out of here and be free. Hey, I didn't invite you in here. Get out.
hear you defended the city from attackers. Well, aren't you making friends quickly? Thank you. I'm glad you came when you did. Oh my, it's very nice of you to take an interest in my life, dear. But you don't need to humor an old woman. Really? Well, you're the first person in the city to say that. Well, let's see. These days I mostly just sweep the streets here, keep them clean. Cleanliness is next to godliness, or so they say. It's not very inspiring, as you can imagine, but the alternative is to wind up like poor Dooley. Oh, you haven't met him yet? Don't worry, I'm sure he'll introduce himself to you sooner or later. He's homeless. He lives in a cave by the lake. I feel sorry for him. I think most of us do. But ever since his brother died, he's been obsessing over some long-lost treasure. The Jarl decided because he can't work, he doesn't deserve to live in a house like the rest of us. So he lives in a tent in a cave of sorts. But don't let him drag you into it. I'm quite sure it's imaginary. A great loss can do terrible things to a person's mind. Well, anyway, that's about all there is about me to tell, I'm afraid. I'm not very interesting. Well, the most important thing in my life is prayer. So let me ask you, have you found room in your heart for Mara, the Mother Goddess? Yes, of course, dear. Don't worry, I get that reaction a lot. Perhaps I'll see you later. I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to leave.
there. Come over here. My... What? That doesn't matter now. I don't have much time. I just need you to listen to me. The others all think I'm mad. Stendar, he plants these images in my head. He shows me secrets. Made me come here. Something terrifying. Deep in the earth beneath the city. Powerful. And evil. I went down into the tunnels to destroy it. But the energy... it seeps into your bones. Please. Please, you must find a way to get down there. And finish what I...
Hello, my friend.
Miranda told me you cut down those looters before they breached the city gates. Well done, my friend. Well done. I'm Habik. I live out back with my wife, Miranda. We used to live in solitude, but, we had to leave. Found this place by accident, like most. The Jarl needed someone to mind the store. So I volunteered. Doesn't make any money, of course. Not enough customers. The Jarl says he likes to keep us busy and out of trouble. But of course, he and all his cronies in the Citadel never seem to lift a finger. Our son was working at my stables outside the city. He was alone when he had a visit from some Imperial, a cousin of the High King. This Imperial thought he'd just take one of the horses as a tithe. Guess he didn't think a 12-year-old boy was going to stop him. But Limar wouldn't stand for it. And as the thief rode off, my son managed to shoot an arrow into his shoulder. But I wasn't there at the time. I came back from the market to find my son's body, trampled in the dirt. It was... I can't begin to describe it. I was shattered. I went straight to Torig's court and demanded justice. But I guess that word doesn't mean much to an Imperial. Instead, he seized my stables and told me if I ever set foot in Solitude again, my wife and I would end up the same way as Lamar. So we left. Wandered Skyrim for a while, and eventually wound up here. I was hoping this place would be better. I was wrong. I wish it was that simple. But with the Dwarves' Law, everybody here is terrified of doing anything wrong, in case it gets us all killed. The Dwarves wrote, "The many shall suffer for the sins of the one." But we don't know what they meant by sin. Theft. Violence, probably. But maybe they meant all sorts of things, like dishonesty or disobedience to the Jarl. That's what Metellus would like us to think, anyway. So I could ignore his orders. Sure. I could even lead an uprising against him. Gods know most of us are sick of him, but I'd be risking the lives of everyone here, and I just don't want to be responsible for that. So here I am, running my shop. Could be worse. Don't be a fool. That sort of dangerous talk could get us all killed. If you don't believe me, go and talk to Broll. Dunmer fellow. Can't miss him. All right. No, I don't. But I'd wager that if anyone does know a way out, it's the Jarl. But of course, if he told anyone, he'd be ruling over an empty city. All right, thanks for stopping by. What are you doing here? Get out.
Heard you got to kill those looters. Wish I could have joined you. I haven't been allowed to fight in years. Get out of my face, milk drinker. My problem is that I'm the only one around here whose head isn't buried in the sand. That's my problem. I mean, everyone acts like nothing's wrong, but we're one stupid mistake away from being wiped out, like the last lot of people who lived here. Seems like I'm the only one ready for what's coming, whatever that is. And when it hits, it's every man for himself. You've been warned. I don't know. But did you ever get the feeling these statues are watching us? Like they're waiting for something? I don't like it. If I did, I wouldn't be standing here listening to you. What about it? Nope. This is the only one like it in the whole city. It's not for sale. Oh, well in that case, you still can't have it. Let me be clear. The only way you'll get this armor is if you peel it from my corpse. Uh-huh. Get out of my house.
Hey! I hear you dealt with those looters swiftly. Great work. Look, I haven't done anything wrong, if that's what you're thinking. It's not as if I'm a vampire or a necromancer or anything. Somebody just has a problem with my preference for male company. Nothing gets by you, does it? Sorry, that was mean of me. Yes, I like men. And when you grow up in Windhelm like I did, you expect a bit of hostility. I saw enough friends attacked and driven away by angry Nords to know the cost of not keeping your personal affairs to yourself. So I hid who I was for... what was it? 20 years? Living in the barracks with a dozen other guardsmen, watching what I said and where I looked. But that kind of fear eats away at you slowly, until living isn't any better than the thing you were afraid of. And that's when I came clean. Needless to say, since I'm now living underground on the opposite corner of Skyrim, my openness didn't go well among the Nords of Windhelm. But at least down here, I get to be who I am. Or, at least, I thought that was the case. Perhaps I was wrong. No, I don't. I keep my personal affairs to myself, and I've never really been interested in any of the men here. Not my type. It wouldn't usually bother me. I have a thick skin, and I can handle myself in a fight better than most. But if these threats keep getting worse, eventually my secret admirer is going to get violent and break the dwarves' laws. Rikus? The big, crazy Nord who walks around with his weapon drawn? Of all the people it could have been, he's the most terrifying. Oh, alright. Well, see what you can do. I think it would only inflame things if I speak of it myself. You wouldn't believe how often the new ones ask that question. But I'll tell you the same thing I tell everyone else. There are much worse places to live out your days. You might have a few sleepless nights thinking about the dwarves' law. But once you get used to the fear, knowing that a single slip-up could cost you everything, it's not too bad. Nothing new to me, anyways. The many shall suffer for the sins of the one. That's about all I know. You should go and talk to Brohl in his chambers if you want to know more. What about him? Oh, alright. Well, come on back anytime you like.
Hey, why are you still here?
I've been waiting for you, Dovahkiin. Of course, to me, your memories are an open tome. To begin with, I know you are the leader of the band of murderers called the Dark Brotherhood. And I know you are a brazen thief, compulsively stealing from your own kind, without remorse or restraint. I know the blood of the beast flows in your veins. Liar. I also know you have come from the future. And why is that? Is your desire for power so great that you would break even the laws of time for it? It makes no difference. You will not take it from me. You would not be so foolish as to break my law. I mean, my law. I made it because your kind would be incapable of order, of peace, without it. That makes me the Arbiter. I am also the founder. I discovered this site millennia ago, and the deposit of Ethereum beneath us. I laid the foundations, and I watched my children grow and learn and use the Ethereum to create marvels, technological wonders. But they grew quarrelsome and used their knowledge to create weapons to use against their own kind, and worse, their own father. So I confiscated their weapons and declared my law that each and every one of my children would live in perfect order, or they would not live at all. And here I am, millennia later, still waiting for children worthy of this city. And for my patience, it seems my reward is a visit from you, Dovahkiin. Well, why have you traveled through time to come here? What is it you seek? Ah, if only you could read my memories as I read yours. Very well. Ask your questions. You flock here, your kind, like moths to a flame, driven by greed and the lust for power. You are warned about my law, and when you disobey, and you always disobey, you force my hand, bringing death upon yourselves. So you ask if I am the one killing your kind. And I say no. You kill yourselves. I am merely the means by which you do it. 2,000 years in your terms. But time is different down here. I count time in waves, generations, civilizations. You and your kind up above are number 322. You wish to be ageless, like me. In truth, time passes differently in here. It would take an eternity just to explain it to you. It is not my place to reveal that secret to you, Dovahkiin. But when they moved on from this world, I was left behind. You see, the energy that has sustained me all this time, it anchored me here. I could not leave this place if I wanted to. So I see. Now, state your purpose here. Your words are tainted by your sins, Dovahkiin. Yet, I acknowledge your heroic deeds too, Slayer of the treacherous Encano. Very well, I will listen. Choose your next words carefully, Dovahkiin. What is it that you made worse? Your argument is crude and disappointing, Dovahkiin. Is that the best you can do? Ah, I see you have learned nothing from all this. No! Impossible. Of course. And I know you are... I know the... It makes no difference. You will not take it from me. You would not be so foolish as... I see the kind of person you are. My law is the only thing keeping you and your kind from descending into chaos. I mean, my law. I made it. Because your kind would be incapable of... That makes me... I lay... But... So I And... Well... Why have you traveled through time to come? Your words are tainted by your sins, Choose your next words carefully, Dovahkiin. What is it? You admit to breaking my law. In the future, at least this explains why you traveled back in time. I warn you, tread carefully. Everything I have done here, everything I have done, has been... I thought that if I could create peace here, create order, that I could prove to the world that such a thing is possible, and they might follow. When the first of your kind disobeyed my law, I was disappointed. But I thought, if I was patient, the next wave might fare better. But that wave met the same fate, and the next wave after that. They betrayed me, and I had no choice but to wipe the slate clean. But the more I failed, the more firmly I had to believe that I would be vindicated one day. But I I have suspected for a long time that day would never come. And now I see it never will. There is no place for peace and order in this world. I will stop. From this point forward, your kind will be free to live how they choose, in whatever chaos and squalor they create for themselves. I will destroy this Ethereum to ensure your kind can never exploit it, and you may all return to the world of man, should you wish. But I warn you, Dovahkiin, making these changes will create a paradox in time. The events that brought you here will never have taken place. What will become of you is difficult to predict, but that is the risk you have taken by interfering with the past. Now, are you ready? Goodbye, Dovahkiin.
Hey! You startled me there. Wait. I know you. You're... No, that can't be right. For a moment there, I thought you were... You know, the one the statue was meant to honor.
Cassia! Oh, I completely forgot. I asked her to wait for me at the top of the lift and... I guess I got so tied up in this place that I lost track of time.
I'd better head back up and let her know I'm alright. Hey, do you want to come with me? We can chat along the way. Great. Follow me. Let's run back up, shall we? Don't want to keep my sister waiting any longer. So, you're probably wondering what I've been doing down here. I guess it's been, what, a few days? I'll be honest. I came down here looking for a haul I could unload on the next merchant I met. I just wasn't expecting to find a thriving city, and the history of this place is amazing. Did you know that up until about 7 years ago, they had what they called the... Apparently there were inscriptions warning that if one person committed a crime, everyone else would pay for it. But they were all trapped in the city with no way out. So they lived in fear that someone would break the law and get them all killed. Then, one day, a strange man appeared in the city out of nowhere. They say he just walked out of the lake house, like he owned the place. Spectacular dwarven armor. Not like the bad stuff you see in the ruins. And a few people saw him walk into this quarry, into a field of deadly radiation, like it was nothing. Like it hadn't killed people before him. Then, the ground started shaking, and golden statues were collapsing, and inscriptions were crumbling all over the city, all at the same time. And the sun under the ground, which used to light up the entire cavern, bursts into flame and explodes. And strangest of all, the cavern roof opens up like the petals of a flower, and there's real sunlight for the first time in thousands of years. So of course, wondering, did he just walk down here and single-handedly dismantle whatever was keeping the dwarves' law going? Who was he? Was he still alive? So Ro, the local scholar, goes down into the quarry to take a look. Now the whole place is empty. But all the way at the bottom, sitting alone in the darkness, is a statue of the stranger. Oddest tale I ever heard.
Atreus, there you are. Thank the gods you're all right. What kept you so long?
I know. Sorry, Cass. I lost track of time again. It's just that this city is so amazing. You have to come down with me and see it for yourself. I promise. It's perfectly safe.
Well, all right. But first, let me thank our friend. Thank you so much for bringing him back in one piece. I really thought I'd lost him. I can't thank you enough. Now, I promised you a reward. This is something I always carry with me, and it's become very dear to me. I'd like you to have it. Thanks again. My brother and I are in your debt.